eggs today, as well as doing another food demo. So I'm a registered dietitian, and I will be also sharing with you some research and some nutrition information that I've done on the topic of anti-aging and nutrition. And it is important because a lot of our population is aging right now. The baby boomers are also in a time where they are experiencing a lot of these symptoms, and we want to address them. Also, my mother is also in that population, and it also does affect a lot of my friends and family. This is a topic that's actually going to be fun because we're actually talking about some beauty tips. This is geared towards women, but men also can tune in, and it also talks about some healthy food and options that you can add into your diet to help slow the process, okay, and makes us healthier and happier. So as I said, I'm Renee, and I have a master's in clinical nutrition, and I'm also a registered dietitian and a chef. And I have a company called True Nosh. If you want to check that out, that would be great. If you have any questions after the presentation that you think about, you can email me info@truenosh.com. So today we're talking about why we're talking about this subject. It is very important because so many people spend so much money on products that target this population, and there's so many things out there that are questionable, and people are not really understanding why people are taking sort of different supplements and eating certain foods. And there's just so much information out there. Even doctors are overwhelmed by so many products. And it really is hard to know when there's so many products out there which ones actually work. So here I am talking about certain things that you can do to prevent the uncertainty and to help you educate yourself when you go out and buy certain foods and certain supplements. Anybody wonder why most anti-aging skincare lines target females? Well, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, women actually have a longer lifespan than men of their counterparts. So the pitfall here is the men's appearance don't tend to age as quickly as females, and that's something that we have the unfair um, nuances in our world, and we're also in a world that really focuses on appearance, right? So for female, it actually does affect other aspects of their lives too. And it also has mental and emotional aspects because it does impact emotionally, because women don't feel as visible after they turn the age of 51. And this is according to a study done in 2004. And the same study says that 75% women feel ignored by men, and they feel that they've been left on the shelf. So a lot of times we need to understand that not only aging doesn't only affect the physical appearance, but also affects the mental and emotional appearance as well. So we have to be mindful of talking about aging when we talk about with other people, and be mindful that we can do things to slow it down, like exercise, drinking enough water, eating good and healthy foods, and cooking at home. Some symptoms that you might experience as you age. Well, the skin does become thinner and it loses fat. So lines are more prominent, and you can see that also other parts of your body also produces less collagen and elastin. And these are two substances that enables the skin to maintain its smooth and plump and youthful appearance. So these signs can be seen on the skin, and therefore can seem to have an appearance for you to look less strong, because also as you age, cartilage also weakens too. So, nutrition is a very important thing to keep in mind when you are nourishing your body, when you're cooking at home, and you're eating out also. We pack our diet with vibrant foods, and vibrant is the key word because a lot of foods have different colors, and that's an indication that it's loaded with antioxidants, healthy fats, good water substance, and also essential nutrients to help our body replenish and also rejuvenate. And our skin is actually the largest organ in our body and it covers the entire body. So you think that it is something that we really should take care of, right? And also, a lot of people don't realize that when there's something wrong internally, our skin is often the first part that has an effect. So we have like some hives or some eczema or some itchiness when there's something internal that we've ingested that really shows on our skin, and we need to be mindful of the things that we eat. Researchers have even said that eating fruits and vegetables is the safest and healthiest way to combat dull complexions and fine lines. So there really is evidence out there showing that fruits and vegetables are the best that you need to eat every day in our bodies, right? You need to nourish yourselves, and we can gain fuel and feel our best when we have good foods to nourish our body. Look for plants that are deeper in color because those have darker colors like the dark green leafy vegetables or the dark berries and the dark stone fruits. Those actually indicate that they have a higher antioxidant amount in their skin color and is also in their fruits. And these rich shades are usually help you combat the free radicals in your environment as well as in the food we eat. We have a lot of times also we need to combat stress and a lot of emotional effects due to the weather, and foods that are all vibrant and deeper in color can help you with increasing the antioxidants that you ingest, right? Collagen is a really interesting topic, and there are so many types of supplements out there, and also different types of foods that have collagen out there added to it nowadays. And I want to have a little talk about that because collagen, those of you who don't know, is actually throughout your body, and it is actually one of the most plentiful proteins in your body. Yes, collagen is a protein and it provides structure. So if you think about it, it actually is a glue and it holds all your body parts together, and it's found in all your muscles, tendons, ligaments, your blood vessels, your cornea, and your teeth. And it helps also with blood clot and providing structure to your skin. And those are just a little bit of what collagen does to your body. And your body actually makes collagen, and by doing that, it combines two amino acids. And if you know that amino acids are actually building blocks of protein, so two amino acids called one called light glycine and one called proline, and it builds collagen by using vitamin C. So vitamin C is very important in your body, and you need to be mindful of eating some citrus fruits or bell peppers and strawberries because they have a lot of vitamin C in it, and it actually helps to build more collagen. Another form, when you eat different foods, you want to be mindful of getting enough proline. So egg whites and wheat germ, dairy products, and cabbage, asparagus, and mushrooms. Those have proline in it. And glycine, where you can find those, is usually in animal products like skin. So a lot of times chicken skin or pork skin, but there's a lot of fat in those skins, and you might want to kind of go and look for different things like gelatin. So Jello is made of gelatin, and it also is in a lot of other protein-containing foods. Copper is interesting. We need small amounts of copper in our diets, and they can be found in organ meats and sesame seeds, and even cocoa powder, cashew, and lentils. So your body needs a high quality amino acids to make proteins. So we talked about foods that have a complete protein, such as rice and beans combined together, or quinoa, which is also a complete protein. So you want to have a variety of different foods that provide a variety of different amino acids to help your body build different proteins, especially collagen. What things you do or we do in our daily lives that can damage collagen? Well, eating a lot of sugar, especially refined carbohydrates, can interfere with making collagen and can minimize the consumption of refined carbs, and that can increase your ability to make collagen. And getting not too much sunshine. So we need some sunshine in our lives, but too much sunshine can have too much UV radiation. Therefore, if it's too much, that can also reduce collagen production. So avoid excessive sun exposure. So I'm talking about over like an hour. And you want to make sure that if you know that you're going to be outside in hot sun, you want to have some sunscreen on or have a hat on. And smoking also is one thing that reduces collagen production and can actually impair the healing of wounds, leading to some wrinkles, right? And other diseases such as lupus can also damage collagen. Foods that you can do or you can make at home or you can buy in the grocery store to help increase the collagen in your body. It is mainly found in the connective tissues. So bone broth is one of the things that we in the Asian community have been making for millennia. Like I grew up drinking broth made with bones of different animals, and these have very high collagen in it. So you can also boil chicken bones or pork bones if for like an hour or 2 hours with a bunch of vegetables, eat the vegetables and drink the soup, and that can actually have an increased amount of collagen in your diet. Gelatin is basically a cooked form of collagen. So Jello is another way of increasing collagen in your diet. And there are so many interesting debates about whether eating collagen rich food increasing the levels in your body. Well, the thing is, whenever you eat anything that has protein in it, you actually break it down in your digestive system into amino acids anyways. So the more foods that you have that have the protein and the glycine, that gives you more of those amino acids, then those smaller amino acids can then be reassembled in your body. Your body is so smart in picking out those different amino acids, and then they make collagen on its own. Okay. And another one that I've grew up eating is snow fungus. And a lot of my Western friends have no idea what this is. And I'm actually going to be making a soup out of that later for you. And it's been known as snow fungus, but another name for it is called tremella mushrooms. And it's known in the Chinese medicine world to be very nourishing, but in the Western world, it's known to have high in vitamin Ds and also high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. And these are good for hydrating skin because the water holding capacity of the tremella mushroom is 500 times its weight. So think about how much water that it can absorb. And when you eat that, you can slowly release it into your body. Vitamin D is really high in this, so it can maintain with strong bones and also absorption of calcium. And it's also essential to our immune system to keep us healthy, our brains healthy, and to help ward off pathogens, right? We talked about that last week with the immunity session. So I urge you to go and review that session if you have some time. And it also helps you regulate cell growth. So it protects against a lot of different diseases such as cancer. Good foods, leafy greens. I can't urge you enough to increase leafy greens in your diet because they're high in vitamin C, which is needed to produce collagen. Vitamin A is also high in that. It promotes strong and shiny hair. And then vitamin K, it also helps reduce inflammation and also helps rejuvenate your skin as well as the process of blood clotting too, right? So if you cut yourself, it helps you restore your skin. So some sources that have a good source of vitamin C, A, and K, and other good things such as vitamin Bs, right? Watercress is great. You can actually make a watercress salad, or you can boil watercress in a soup. And I love watercress soup, and it's really nourishing and makes a soup really hearty. It also has a lot of different things like calcium, potassium, manganese, and phosphorus. Those are great, as well as other vitamins such as A, C, K, and then B1 and B12. And also, it can act as an internal skin antiseptic, right? So it actually helps enhance oxygenation of the skin. Broccoli is also another wonderful green, and they're not leafy, but I put this here because it's also a really great anti-aging powerhouse. It contains both vitamin C and K, and it also has a variety of antioxidants. It has folate, lutein, and calcium. Spinach, amazing. It's got super hydrating properties, and it also has a lot of antioxidants that help and replenish the body. It helps ward off the free radicals, has all the amazing vitamin A, C, E, and K, as well as magnesium. It actually also has plant-based heme iron, which is important, and lutein. So vitamin C is in spinach, but it needs more in order to absorb the iron in our body. So you want to eat spinach with your citrus foods. So when you're making a salad, add some slices of oranges to increase your vitamin C. Or also kiwi is a great source of vitamin C as well. Colors are super important. I listed a few here. Bell peppers are super red in color, and they have high antioxidants and carotenoids, and also has vitamin C. Carotenoids, if you don't know, is actually a plant pigment. It is bright yellow or red or orange, and it protects the skin from sun damage and pollution and also toxins in the environment. Berries are really beautiful in color. They're usually dark blue and dark purples, also bright red. And these have an antioxidant called anthocyanin, okay? And this is great because it protects the skin from damage to the sun, also stress in your life, and pollution moderating the inflammatory response. And with the decrease in inflammation, you actually prevent collagen loss. Pomegranate seeds, you can buy pomegranate juice. You can actually buy pomegranate seeds in tubs now, and they are super high in vitamin C, also super high in antioxidants. You can add these seeds in a quinoa salad, add some nuts, add some spinach, and you have a really beautiful lunch. And then papaya. Papaya is a wonderful tropical food, but it's readily available. And their seeds can actually be blended and made into a dressing. And I've seen that when I visited Hawaii. And they have so many different types of antioxidants, vitamin and minerals to help improve the skin's elasticity and fight free radicals because of the antioxidant power. And they also have a bunch of vitamins and minerals. And it has an enzyme called papain. And usually people use this to tenderize meat, but it is also known as an anti-inflammatory agent. And you can see in a lot of exfoliating skin products, they have that enzyme in there to make sure that they have a good anti-inflammatory agent in the skincare product, as well as seeds and nuts. So seeds and nuts have vitamin E, and it is something that repairs your skin and keeps the moisture in your skin and also protects you from UV rays. Walnuts have super anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, can strengthen the skin membranes, protect against sun damage, and gives you a nice natural oil barrier. Also, when you eat nuts and skin, make sure that there is nuts and seeds, make sure you have the skin involved because 50% of the antioxidants are actually in the skin. And also it's got a lot of fiber and vitamin B's in the skin too. So you want to make sure when you eat the nuts and seeds, there's skin attached. Avocado is great because it's got all your vitamins and really high in potassium actually, and really great with your essential fatty acids, and therefore it can promote smooth skin. And then also the vitamin A in it can help you shed some dead skin, leaving you with some nice glowing and gorgeous skin. And then again, another great root vegetable is your sweet potatoes. And because it has the orange color, it's got beta carotene, which is then converted into vitamin A. And vitamin A can help restore the skin's elasticity and promote skin cell turnover and help you preserve your skin and help it stay youthful looking. Vitamins C and E are a very good source in your sweet potatoes. Also helps you protect your skin with free radicals and gives you a great complexion. Supplements, a lot of people ask me about supplements and which ones to take. Well, there are really only two types. One is the hydrolyzed collagen, and then the other is gelatin. So as I said earlier, gelatin is created when you cook collagen, and those two types of supplements have already been broken down from a large protein into smaller peptides. So smaller peptides are actually smaller chains of amino acids, and they are easily absorbed. And some studies, but there are not many studies currently yet on collagen supplements, but there are a few that I've listed here that have shown to help with building muscles, and men can take collagen to increase their muscle mass. Also women too, because as we age, we decrease muscle mass, and when we need to increase our lean body mass, we need to make sure that we have the correct foods also, as well as the correct amount of exercise. Arthritis has been known to decrease in collagen supplements, and as well as skin elasticity. So women who took a supplement show some improvement in skin appearance, and also improve the lines and wrinkles as well. So if you buy a collagen supplement, it's usually in a powder form. And sometimes supplements can gel in the food, but these powders actually are easily incorporated into your food, such as blending into a smoothie or adding to soup, because it doesn't really gel and cause so much thickening of your food product. Choose your supplements wisely though, okay? So natural doesn't mean it's always safe, because a lot of these supplements are not regulated by the FDA, and sometimes manufacturers list ingredients on the label that may not actually be in the bottle. And there are some side effects by taking supplements of gelatin. And some people say that the taste is unpleasant, as well as it gives some people heartburn. So you might want to be mindful when you have these symptoms and try to not take as much. And you can always go to the Natural Medicines Comprehensive Database to see the types of supplements that you are purchasing and see how effective they are. The balanced diet is super important. This slide I've talked about previously before. You need quality protein in your life, so it should be about between 10 to 35% of your daily calories. It depends on your activity levels also, and your build, okay? So for a normal person that is not a bodybuilder or an athlete, you usually need about 0.8 grams of protein per a kilogram of your body weight. Healthy fats is important. So omega-3s, look for those in your fatty foods, fatty fishes, sorry, such as your mackerel and your salmon and your anchovies, as well as sardines. And if you are a vegetarian, you want to go and buy some flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, as well as some walnuts. We talked about that. And then whole grains, super important too, because you need fiber as well as your vitamin Bs. And whole grains are really important to feed your gut microbiome, as well as to help you eliminate waste and absorb your nutrients a lot slower. Therefore, you're full and more satisfied, and then you won't go and crave for these processed food as much. So eating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains, try to avoid food and beverages with high fructose corn syrup, and limit your consumption of juices. Increasing your fluids also is very important. Always choose water if you have a chance, because water is what really helps you digest. It helps keep your stool soft, so you don't have constipation. And what I do is I try to put water all over the place to see and remind myself that water is important. And when you are managing your food and your diet, you want to plan ahead and also be mindful of portion size. When you fill your big plate, make sure half of it is vegetables or fruit. And choose vegetables versus fruit because those have less sugar in them. Provide yourself with a lot of different colors, as we talked about, super important. And divide maybe your plate in half between your protein and your whole grains, and then half of it should be fruits and vegetables as well. Choosing your health is super important. I think that your health is more important than wealth, because without health, you cannot have any wealth, and you can't have a happy and healthy life without choosing these things, such as quitting smoking, increasing your physical activity. I can't urge you enough to go for a walk or do some gardening or do some house chores, because regular exercise decreases your risk of heart disease because it improves your circulation. Maintaining a healthy weight is important because it impacts your blood flow when you're overweight or obese. And it leads to a lot of different complications, such as increased cholesterol and building up of plaque in your arteries. Following a healthy diet, we talked about that in a previous slide. And staying hydrated also helps increase circulation and prevents dehydration. Dehydration actually increases your aging process because it promotes inflammation in your body and can damage your endothelial cells. Reducing stress, and we are currently in a stressful environment and time right now, so you want to go and maybe look for a yoga or meditation class that you can take online, play some soothing music, call up a friend and have a long chat, maybe watch a comedy on TV. Try gardening and spending some time in nature. Taking a walk, as I said, is super important for your mental and physical health. All right. So remember, maintaining your health is more than just one supplement or one pill, more than just one food or nutrient, and more than just one lab result or one exercise. Because balancing your overall diet, balancing your overall lifestyle is what will make the biggest difference to your health and your happiness. When you go and shop in a grocery store, make sure that you read your labels and not just reading the front, because something that's labeled low fat doesn't mean it's super healthy. It can contain other refined carbs, as well as high in sugar, as well as sodium. So you want to be mindful when you're reading the label. Make sure that sugar and sodium are both under 15%, okay? 15% of your daily value, okay? And when you ever have a doubt, consult your doctor or consult your dietitian if you have something that's related to food or nutrition. Prevention is always the key, so you can always go on HealthLink BC. There are great resources on their website. or call 811 and ask to speak to a physician or a dietitian or a nurse. And in BC, we have BC Dietitians, and go on their website, bcdietitians.ca, and we can match you with a dietitian that is in your area, or can see you via a virtual Zoom or a Skype call. And really looking after your health and preventing diseases is what's going to help you live a longer and happier and healthier life. Okay, so that's my presentation today. We're going to go back into our kitchen and we're going to cook up some healthy and hearty foods today. So I actually chose 2 soup recipes today, and I want to share with you. One is one of my favorites is a Mexican inspired tortilla soup, and the other is a Chinese inspired sweet soup, which is very nourishing and it can be eaten throughout the day, and it's also sweet, so it's actually very, very good. Okay, so let's start with the Chinese one because it takes a little bit more time. And we talked about the snow fungus or the tremella mushroom, and I want to show you how it looks like in person. So this is what it looks like. You can buy this at any Chinese grocery store, and it's in a package and like this, and it's usually called snow fungus or white fungus. And this is half of that snow fungus, and I've actually poured in some boiling water this morning. Well, not really this morning, right before I started this presentation, so about 30 minutes ago, on half of this. So this turned into this, and it's continuing to absorb water. So right now there are some maybe some dirt that's left in there. So after you rehydrate it, you want to rinse it out and also drain out all the water and wash the mushroom very nicely so it's all clean and ready for your soup. Okay, so I've done that step. And in the back here, I have a boiling water. So I have about 1.5 liters of water in the back, and I turned it on to a simmer so I can make this soup. What else is in this soup? So I have some ginger, and this is a big piece of ginger, and you all see my table. We don't need such a big one. We only need about 5 slices. So I'm gonna actually use the skin, and what I'm gonna do is cut off any of the dirty parts. I mean, they're not dirty. I washed it and scrubbed it off, but any parts that you see that might need to be cut off, you can go ahead and do that. The skin has a lot of antioxidants, so I'm just gonna cut off maybe 5 or 6 small slices of ginger in here, and you want to put that in the boiling water in the back. So I'm going to turn this a little bit higher. You can see later on after I put everything in what's in the soup. Okay, so I have here some red dates. These are also easily purchased at a local Asian grocery store. If you don't have red dates, you can use regular dates, but these are more nourishing than your regular dates. And some have the pit in it and some don't. So you can go ahead and take out the pit if you have time. And I'm going to add 3 into the boiling water here. I'm just going to take out the pit. The pit is really small, so you might spend maybe 2 minutes peeling that pit off. I'm going to come closer to you so you can see what I'm doing here with the pit, and I'm just ripping it out of the center of the red date. Okay. All right, 1, 2, and 3. And then another ingredient that I'm going to add is a whole apple. So I said that this is going to be a sweet soup. So this is going to be an apple soup. So if you don't have an apple, you can go ahead and use a pear or a Asian pear. These both are interchangeable. So if you don't have an apple, use a pear, or what you can do is also add papaya, and papaya goes really well in this dish as well. So we talked about the antioxidants and the papain in the papaya. So I'm just going to cut my apple into slices and take out the core, and I'm going to just allow the apple to just simmer in there. I'm just going to cut them into smaller slices. Okay, so I have a whole apple here. I'm going to get that into the soup. And when you're eating the sweet soup, you can go ahead and also eat all the fruits that we've added into the soup as well. So cut that whole apple in. And then we have two other different fruits that I have. So this is actually goji berries, and they're super high in antioxidants. They're grown now in British Columbia, which is great. These also you can find dried in many grocery stores now, not just Asian grocery stores. And I'm just going to add in a handful of goji berries as well into the soup. And then one last fruit is a Asian date, just to make sure that the soup is sweet enough. You can buy this also in a Chinese grocery store. If you don't have one of these, you can use figs. Figs are great as well. So I'm just going to add the whole one in here. And then the snow fungus, I'm going to just rinse it out one more time just to make sure that all that dirt is rinsed out. They're usually pretty clean. So it's a beautiful white color now. The stem I'm going to keep on because it's just going to be a soup and it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to serve it as a dessert, it just doesn't look as pretty keeping the stem. Okay. And this can be kept in the fridge. I meant the dried ones can be kept out in your pantry. It doesn't matter. But if you rehydrate it, it can be kept in your fridge for a few days. But I like to make the soup right away, so I'm going to add it in here. And you'll notice as you boil the soup, it gets thicker and thicker because of the snow fungus actually melting in the soup. So I'm going to turn that into a higher heat. And then lastly, but not leastly, I'm going to add a few Chinese almonds. These are a mixture of southern and western, northern almonds, and they are really flavorful. So I'm going to give it a rinse, and then I'm just going to add these into the soup. If you don't have Chinese almonds, you can add regular almonds. Okay, so that makes a really beautiful soup. And I'm going to let it simmer and boil. I'm going to bring you guys closer to the stage or the my stove so you can see what I'm doing with the soup. And I'm just going to let this boil for about an hour in here. You guys see how beautiful that looks? And I'm just going to turn it up to a high and allow the soup to boil on its own. Okay, and that is it for our first soup, and we're going to let that boil while we make the second soup. I chose soups because it's getting cold, and I like to usually sometimes just drink soup for dinner and maybe toast some bread or a nice tortilla to go with it. Okay, so after we finish the Asian sweet soup, that can be our dessert soup, and then this can be our main meal. We have some pepper. So we don't have red pepper today, but yellow pepper also has super high in antioxidants. We have a little onion here. I have an avocado, a pretty ripe one. And then I have my own tomato carrot compote. If you don't have a tomato compote, you can actually use tomato paste and blend it with some carrots to increase your vitamin A in your foods and also bring down some of the acidity in the tomatoes. And this is great as a soup base. So I'm going to add a whole can of this, as well as a little bit of nutritional yeast. So those of you who don't know about nutritional yeast, they're little flakes of yeast, and they smell quite cheesy. So a lot of times vegan cheeses have nutritional yeast in them because it mimics the flavor of cheese, as well as has a lot of vitamin B12 in this because it was a fermented food, and anything that has been fermented usually has an increased amount of vitamin B12 in the foods. And what I have, because we're doing tortilla chips, I have a little bit of low sodium chips, tortilla chips here, and they're gluten-free. And then I have some chili powder. So this one has chili lime in it. If you don't have a chili lime powder, just add some paprika and then add a squeeze of lemon juice or lime juice to your soup. Either one works. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to dice the onions into just small, rough chopped slices. And then I'm going to first turn up my pot for my tortilla soup onto high. Medium, not high. And then we're going to saute the onions really quickly to make a nice translucent appearance, and a little bit of brown to give it a little bit of a toasty flavor. Just peeling this onion quickly. Right. Does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to turn on the chat and take a look. So I just rough chopped some onions here, adding some grapeseed oil. Whatever type of cooking oil you have at home is fine. Okay, and then once again, I'm going to cut some peppers. We also cooked with peppers last week in that soybean wrap, which is also very, very fun and easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to cut my yellow peppers into small chunks. Oops. There's a little bit of water in my pot, so be mindful of that. Okay, so now it's time to add the onions. Okay, I'm going to turn that down a little bit lower. And then I'm going to bring you guys to take a look at my pan with the onions as we cook. Okay, so the onions are sauteing. I'm gonna make sure it gets to a nice brown color on some bits of the onion, and make sure it's all translucent. Then I'm gonna add in the yellow peppers. And as the vegetables cook, I can spoon in my tomato carrot compote. It also has a little bit of coriander seeds in it to give it a really nice flavor. So this soup can feed 2 to 3 people as an appetizer. And what I'm gonna do with the jar is I will add a little bit of water to it. And put the cap on and shake it around to get all of that good stuff inside. And then we're going to pour the water in here, and that will be our soup stock. And the tomato paste already has some salt and pepper in it, so I'm not going to add any extra in here. We have our nutritional yeast. I'm going to add 2 big spoonfuls because I love the cheesiness of the nutritional yeast. And it gives it a nice creamy texture to the soup. And then now we're gonna add our a sprinkle of our chili lime seasoning. If you don't have a chili lime seasoning, you can go ahead and add any chili powder and add a squeeze of lime juice. Okay, so a teaspoon of that gets mixed in. And then I'm gonna let it come to a nice boil. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of a sprinkle of cheese for the soup. And I'm gonna cut some avocados for the garnish, and we can serve it as a beautiful soup for lunch. Let me just get a nice bowl for the soup. Because we added some nutritional yeast, we don't need to add so much cheese to the soup because there's already a lot of flavor. Okay, so it's done boiling and I'm ready to take it off the stove. And we're going to plate this soup beautifully. With a little bit of avocado. So cutting the avocado, you're just gonna slice it in half along the core, turn it, and this is a beautiful avocado. I'm just gonna slice it. And if you like a nice presentation, gently peel off the skin, or you can use a nice spoon to scoop it out. But if it's a nice, ripe avocado, the skin should come off really, really easily. Okay, so I'm just going to use about 1/4 of an avocado for the soup. And I feel pieces of tortilla chips in here. Always gives it a nice crunch. And then a sprinkle of beautiful mozzarella. Okay, and also I like a little dash of the chili powder on top. And now we have a beautiful tortilla soup that is done in less than 10 minutes. Okay, and we're just gonna go and check on our Chinese soup over there, and that needs a little bit more time to boil. So about an hour or so, and then you can see that the snow fungus will thicken the soup, and you can turn the heat off, and you can either drink the soup hot or cold, actually. So it's a great dessert either way. Okay, so those are my 2 recipes that I'm going to share with you today, and I hope you guys try it out at home. Or is there any questions that I need to answer, Adam?
Okay, the live stream has stopped, and so far no questions.
Okay, so if any of the attendees have any questions, they can email me info@truenosh.com. Okay?
Okay. For those videos, you wanted me to send you which ones exactly, or?
All the ones, because, well, like, I guess I have some that are posted on my website also. So the ones that probably October and November would be
Okay.
good. Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you. All right.